The last lesson we were talking about non-vascular plants. Non-vascular plants do not have vascular tissue. They were plants such as moss that we looked at in class. Today we're going to talk about vascular plants. Vascular plants have vascular tissue. And as a review, vascular tissue is tissue that transports materials throughout the plant. As you can see in the cross section of this stem, remember that vascular tissue consists of phloem pipes and xylem pipes or tubes. The phloem carries food up and down the plant through these tubes, and the xylem pipes carry water and minerals up and down. Besides providing a plumbing system for the plant per se, this vascular tissue also makes the plant stronger and more stable. Think of a bundle of straws compared to a single straw. The bundle of straws is going to be stronger and more stable. So as we look at vascular plants, they are divided into two categories, two subcategories: seedless vascular plants and seed vascular plants. Both of these categories of plants have vascular tissue. The difference in the two categories is how they reproduce. Seedless vascular plants reproduce with spores, while seed plants reproduce with seeds. If we take a closer look at seedless vascular plants, we have three examples. We have ferns, club mosses, and horsetails. Ferns are found in shaded areas and moist soil. So as you can see in this picture, in the woods perhaps, in an area that retains some moisture. Their structure is slightly different than other plants. You can see that the root of the fern plant is coming off of the stem, which the stem is underground. So you have an underground stem with roots coming down, and then you have leaves growing through the top. Take a closer look at the root. You see the roots coming down here off of the underground stem, and the root, just like the roots of any plant, their job is to absorb water and nutrients and spread the water and nutrients up through the vascular tissue of the plant. Looking here at the underground stem and the leaf that grows up from the stem. Here you have the frond of the fern plant. Fronds are the fern's leaves. They have an upper surface that is coated with a cuticle, a waxy covering that helps the plant retain water. As new fern leaves are starting to grow, they are curled up at first, and they resemble the top of a violin head, and so they are called fiddleheads as they are first emerging from the soil. Eventually they uncurl to look like the rest of the leaves of the fern. Let's take a look at club mosses. Club mosses are a little bit tricky. They're not really a type of moss, despite their name, club mosses. They're made up of vascular tissue. Very few species alive today. Some names of the ones that are around are ground pine and princess pine. Again, just like ferns, they are found in moist woodlands and near streams. See a closer up picture of a type of club moss. Horsetails are our last example of seedless vascular plants, given the name because they look like a little bit like a horse's tail, And there's a bunch of different species today, though. Some do not have these leaves coming off the side. Some just kind of have the stem coming up, like the one that we looked at in class. Um, One unique thing about them is that they contain silica, which is a gritty substance in sand. And during colonial times, they would use this plant to scrub pots and pans because of this silica material. So those are the examples of seedless vascular plants. Go ahead and complete the apply it activity at the bottom of page 94. The question says, suppose you ran a flower shop that sold cut flowers and potted plants. You have just received a shipment of potted ferns, and several customers are interested in purchasing them. Before they are ready to be sold, you need to make sure your customers can take care of the ferns so they won't regret their purchase. On the tag at the left, over here, write the care instructions that will be given to your customers who buy potted ferns. Include the conditions that the fern needs for light and water. If you refer back to the top of this page, up in this section here, look for the type of conditions that ferns thrive in and list that information over here so that your customers know how to care for their new ferns. Again, you may pause this video to give you time to fill that out. Once you fill that care tag out, answer number 2. Florists recommend not putting plants like ferns in south or west facing windows. Why do you think that is true? Think about the lighting conditions that ferns like to have, and think about why you maybe would not want to put the ferns in windows that faced south or west. Again, you may pause this video to finish that. Okay, now on page 95, figure 4, a moss imposter. A club moss is pictured at left, right here. Why is a club moss not a true moss? Think about the type of tissue that makes up club moss. Explain that here in these lines. Then go down to the assess your understanding. 2a says, in plants, water moves through, circle which type of tissue water moves through, and food moves through, circle your choice there. B, why do you think the developing leaves of a fern are coiled? I'll give you a hint with this one. The leaves are somewhat protected as the leaf comes out of the soil and is curled up to protect it as it continues to develop. Go ahead and skip part C over here and go down to the I get it. Now I know the characteristics of seedless vascular plants include, and go back to the key points which you'll find on page 93.